baby. Sometimes I feel like that's how these trees are. They're like reaching out for the sun, reaching out for the light, for the air, for the sun. Give me the light, Father. And that's why they get so big and tall, and they just keep sprawling and fighting for space amongst themselves for the light. You ever feel like that? You ever feel like that yourself, or you ever feel like trees feel like that? You know, like they're just reaching out, getting a good, like a big old stretch in, like, oh yeah, baby. And they're just holding it, stretching. Big stretch, like when your dog in the living room floor like stretches out all big stretch. So cut that. Either cut that or welcome in. What's up? We're in Washington, baby. Behind me is Mount Rainier. We are like in the heavens, dude. Can you see that? That is literally like the earth meets the sky right there. Because that is Mount Rainier. You can't see the top of it. It's like the Tower of Babel poking into the heavens. Kind of cool. It's pretty pretty. If these glasses are actually working, I've been having problems with them. You can behold what we're looking at down here. We're on like a dead road. We're on like a road closed for the season because it gets too dangerous with the snows up here. But if you can see below us here, giant canyon valley. I mean, this is so steep. It's kind of freaky, honestly. It's kind of freaky. Like you have to kind of like have like, you have to like be on your heels, you know what I mean? Like on your toes, but like heels planted, you know what I mean? Weight back. Because that is a very steep mountain face we are on currently. But it is October 9th, I believe. It's either the 9th or the 10th. I just said October, but it is November 9th. November 10th. You lose track of time and dates when you're just on the road, when you're just traveling the country, when you're not working, when you don't have a routine schedule. I keep forgetting like days of the week and dates, and now literally months. I am Seanathan. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for putting up with me. What an intro. Stay tuned. It's going to get good. We're going to talk about my last month in the state of Washington, Eastern Washington, and then we spent some time in Seattle. And boy, do we have a time. We're probably just going to, I have so much to talk about. I'm probably just going to like cut this off somewhere. We have left. We are on our way out and onward towards Portland, where it's going to be kind of part 2 of this journey of figuring out the homelessness. Sean fights the homeless. Sean fights the homelessness epidemic is probably more adequately put, but the Always Sunny in Philadelphia intro tag will say Sean fights the homeless. It's been a time, man. It's been really good and really bad and really dark, man. The drugs in this country, just not even the people sleeping on the streets doing the drugs, which is insane and hard to put into words how dark and crazy it is in some places in this country right now. We'll talk about that on a future stream. We'll get into that. Happier things on this stream. We'll talk about the darkness coming up. But yeah, I am Seanathan. Welcome in to my stream. Happy good day. Happy nice day. Happy good day to all my all my foreigners in Seattle. It's my new favorite phrase. Happy good day. Sometimes I'll switch it up and say happy nice day. Love it. Love it. I started just saying that, and it was like they would just beam with joy, like going in and out of these businesses and restaurants, beaming with joy that the goofy white boy said their greeting, which I love. Happy good day. Have a happy nice day. But we are in the playground, a playground of the people. I've been listening to, not reading, but listening to audiobooks about national parks and the playgrounds of the people and all the great men, all the strong men in this country that like stood their ground and like made the national parks exist and possible, and it's like stood their ground when people came to try to mine them and strip them and stuff, you know, dam them up and bulldoze them, pave roads on them like this. But it's a push-pull. How do people enjoy it if you don't build a road for people to get to it to enjoy it, you know? This is the people's land. We're in the people's land. We are in the people's playground. We are in America's backbone. One of our beautiful national parks. That is Mount Rainier. You can't see it. It's being swallowed up by the clouds. But the other day I saw it. Total sunshine. It was glorious. Pretty pretty, man. This country is pretty pretty pretty, man. It's also pretty dark. It's also got its low points, you know. Go to Asheville, North Carolina on a Thursday night or Friday night, you know. Go to downtown Seattle on like a Tuesday night. There's some darkness, man. And there's also some glorious, beautiful sights in this country. This place is cool, man. This place is worth fighting for. But welcome in. We are in a playground of the people. We left the playground that is called Seattle. Was in that whole area for about 3 weeks. We're going to talk about it. We're going to do a little bit of ranting. Buckle up. Buckle up, dude. I thought it was kind of a joke. Like, yeah, it's going to rain a little bit. It'll rain a few days. I pulled into town, and it was just literally the weather report was 7 straight days of rain. It rained. I went to this football game. It rained 3 times. It rained, got sunny, got cloudy again, rain, got sunny, got cloudy, got rainy, got sunny, all in one football game. It's nuts, dude. So annoying. So annoying. I don't know. It makes the people miserable too. Everyone is just so cold. Like everyone is just like doesn't look you in the eye, very cold, very kind of like leave me alone. You know, I'm always like goofy and funny and trying to start conversations, be all social and have like a joke. You know, break the tension in the room with something witty and funny or something, you know. People here, they're not having it, man. The rain, the gray skies, it just makes them like cold. It makes them like dark, not dark. Yeah, just, I guess just cold, reserved, cautious, you know, to themselves, very to themselves kind of people. You know, there's nice people. I'm not saying there's not nice, funny people. I met a lot of people. We had a lot of fun, funny talks with some people along the way. A lot of information shared. I kept picking people's brains about a lot of stuff. But the funny thing was they were literally one by one, everybody was telling me how sunny it had just been for like the last 3 months. They're like, yeah, we didn't have like any rain. Like it was so sunny. And then I went over the Cascades and down to the coast, saw the Pacific Ocean, meandered my way on to Seattle, onward down to Seattle. And as soon as I got to town that day, apparently I brought the reins with me, you know? So that was fun. That was cool. That was cool. And it was gross. And I was wondering that too. I was like, dude, the city is just so gross. It was so swampy and wet and like smelly. But it made sense because I guess it like hadn't, you know, all summer it hadn't rained. And then when it rains all at once, it's kind of washing everything away. All the oil and trash and leaves that were starting to pile up and trash, a lot of trash all over this, you know, going to the gutters, going to the sewers. Just everything being washed off the concrete and the sidewalks, you know. And I was just the fortunate lucky one that happened to mosey my way on into town at the right time to experience it. Just in time to catch it, you know. So on top of all the fish smells, on top of all the garbage smells that is the city, I kind of walked into this swampy, soupy mess. That was fun. I love the apps, like the phone, like your app is just like telling you, like it's like, oh, 14% chance of raining, and it's just raining on you. You're like, literally, I'm like standing outside, like my phone is like getting water on it. I'm like trying to like wipe my screen to like get the weather updates, you know, and it's like raining on me. It's raining on my phone screen. My fingers and my screen have raindrops falling onto it, and the screen is like with a straight face telling me it's a 12% chance of rain right now. Partly cloudy, you know, the little cartoon is like a little partly cloudy, light chance of rain for the next 2 hours. And you're like, dude, it's like raining right now. What are you talking about? But yeah, it was like a frustrating 3 weeks of just the weather apps. Like, I don't even know why they try. Like, why in Seattle, dude, just pack it up and go home, dude. There's no point in having them. They're wrong every day. Every day. I kept trying to plan everything out. Like, okay, tomorrow looks like it's not going to be rainy, so I can do this and this and this. And then, of course, it's raining. Then the next days it'd be like, oh, okay, the weather report says it's going to rain for the next couple of days. I guess I won't be able to go outside. And the next 2 days, I'm planning to go like indoors to do stuff, and it's like sunny outside. Get it together, Seattle. Get it together, y'all. It was very annoying. It was very frustrating. And the gray skies, like right now, it's just constantly a state of gray, like a whiteout sky. Like 80%, 90% of my time has just been like empty skies. And it messes me up because I actually am very good at directions. Like I am a very like direction oriented guy. Like I can look at maps and kind of figure out where we are based on the roads, based on directions. But a lot of it is really just telling where the sun is. So obviously that's not a perfect metric, a perfect thing to go by if there happens to be a cloudy day or it's rainy or it's night, But in general, overall in my life, I've been pretty good at telling directions. And I was having a horrible time in Seattle. The hills, the weird roads, the gray skies. The parking is atrocious. I mean, the parking, bro, Seattle, guys. I don't know if you know this, but like people have cars and like they need to go exist places. Like the cars are gonna like need to like exist while people go inside their homes and while people go inside their work and while people go shop. There's like needs to be places for people to put their cars. I don't know if you know that or not, Seattle, but crazy how little parking there is. Crazy how insane it is, how bad people are at parking. And then everywhere in the city is they just let you park on either direction. So like one side of the street, so this side of the street is the parking, but you can be parking like facing this direction, and then the next car can literally be like bumper to bumper kissing it, like facing this direction. So you can just park in any direction and you kind of keep the street open. Kind of makes sense, really doesn't though. If I'm like not from the area, I'm trying to follow GPS, it's already confusing enough. I can't tell my sense of direction because it's gray skies. All of a sudden I turn down a street I think I'm okay to turn down and all the cars are facing me. Like all the cars parked on the street are now facing me and I'm turning down a street and I'm like panicking because I just thought I turned the wrong way down a one-way street, Like I'm now turning and I'm just seeing all of the traffic and cars looking and pointing and coming at me. And I'm like, dude, did I just kill myself? No, it just turns out they just park however they feel like it. They just gotta park however they feel like it. It kind of works if you're there. If you live there, I guess it makes sense. If you're like not from there, it's crazy. Like dangerously crazy, Yeah, also just U-turns everywhere. Just they don't let you like not cross the street. You like have to make right turns everywhere. Then they don't let you U-turn. And then when they do let you U-turn, there's like not enough space. Like streets here don't have space for like cars to like turn. Definitely not like parking spaces are way too small. It's the West Coast. Everyone's liberal and hippie and has gay little cars. You know what I mean? There's no like masculine men with big trucks out here, In Tennessee, my truck is kind of like the little boy's truck. It's kind of like the, partner. Oh, you got a cute little Tacoma? That's cute. Why don't you get a Tundra like a real man someday, And I come out here with my little Tacoma and I feel like a big, strong man, like a big cowboy rolling into town because I'm like the only person with like a truck at all, But there's just no space. Everyone has these tiny little gay cars that like make it so that actual men can't drive their actual man cars around. It's very frustrating, very annoying. And drivers are just terrible. And I was wondering, I was like, man, because I had just driven all over the country, like all over the Midwest, where I was kind of blown away at how good all the drivers were. How people drive fast and use turn signals and let each other go. And I was like, man, these drivers are really good up here in like the Rocky Mountain areas, the Pacific Northwest. And I got to Seattle and it was unbelievably bad. It was so bad. You're just on the defensive 24/7 whenever you're driving, I was like, man, what is it? Like, what do you like? I'm curious. I'm wondering, what do you think it is? Like, is it just the city? I'm like, yeah, but I've been to other cities. It's not this bad. Like Chicago's bad and annoying. It's not this bad overall, just this sporadic, this crazy, everyone too loosey-goosey, no turn signals, No one drives fast. It's not like everyone's driving dangerous and fast. It's just like, it just is really confusing, annoying, stupid stuff, Very puzzling stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, duh. I realized what the answer was. Anyone at home want to guess before I give it away? Slowly just driving over the course of like 2 weeks, I kind of, oh yeah, it makes sense. Oh yeah, okay, yep, makes sense. Anyone at home? What does Seattle have a lot of? If you've never been to Seattle, it has a lot of women and Asians. And that is a 1-2 punch of just horrendous traffic conditions. Of just, I do not want to be in traffic right now surrounded by all of these Teslas driven by Asians and women. All of these Priuses and Teslas everywhere, just Asians and women and old people everywhere. It was a nightmare, man. So I had to get out of town. For a lot of reasons, I had to get out of town, get a little recharge. Went to Mount Olympus, Olympic National Park last 2 nights. I was in a little cabin up there. It was nice. We're here tonight, and we're going to go to Portland tomorrow. Get a little recharge, a little reset out of all the traffic and chaos and commotion of Seattle, man. We'll talk about that on the stream. I'm going to do a whole stream where we talk about kind of what I've been getting up to in the cities, going into cities, and living with the people who live on the streets, really immersing myself. But there is some other stuff we're going to film and do and talk about, and I'm going to save all of those thoughts. But in summary, Seattle is in a very bad state, and I experienced some of the darkest, worst of it, and we'll talk about that. It was nice. It was fun. I did all the things. Again, we'll talk about it. It's all the touristy stuff, did all the things. And now we're out. and now we're not there anymore. And that's a good thing. Praise the Lord. We are not there anymore. Not around all the women and Asians driving. So yeah, I was thinking of this the other day. It's like skunks, rain, bears, and women. Right? Is that right? Skunks, bears, women, rain are the 4 things that I'm scared of in my life right now. If you're like, hey, Sean, what are like the 4 things that like are fears that you need to conquer in your life? It's skunks, it's bears, it's rain, and it's women. And all for very different reasons. There's 4 things that I'm like, I get nervous around, I'm fearful of, I get anxious about encountering. I hate dealing with it. It pains me to have to deal with it when it slaps me in the face, when it intrudes onto my person, when it interferes with my plans. For very different reasons, those are like my big fears, is encountering those 4 things. So just be praying for me, y'all. Be praying for me tonight as I go to my cabin up in the mountains and have a cozy little night, that I don't encounter any of those 4 things along my way, And speaking of Asians, it was wild seeing them. They all up here like work jobs. Like there's so many Asians, If we're looking at like a real map of the world, like a UN map, hey, why don't you at home Google the UN map, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Maybe the real map, the real actual geopolitical map that people use. If you kind of pay attention to what's going on in that sense, Seattle is kind of what's connecting the United States to Asia. Like there's Hawaii, there's Seattle, and there's Los Angeles, and there's the other ports too, San Francisco, San Diego, yada yada. But really, geographically, if we're looking at the correct map of the Earth, Seattle is kind of the connector, and Vancouver for Canada. It's like an Asian pipeline. You know what I mean? It's the closest direct path for the Asians to come here and for us to go to Asia, ships and planes and people and trade and culture, you know, and everything just is this pipeline back and forth of Seattle, Vancouver, to and from Asia. And so it makes sense that there's a lot of them here. So when you pull into Seattle, okay, that makes sense. There's a lot more Asians here. Great. I have to be more defensive when I'm driving. Great. I have to watch out for throwing stars when I'm walking down the street, you know. Great. All these Asians. But also great. The air is gonna smell delicious. Also great. I'm gonna get complimented and smiled at when I walk into coffee shops and stuff, you know. Love Asians, dude. Asians are dope. I had a great little moment with a little Asian man. I complimented his mustache and he gave me a smile. I don't think he understood English. Or, you know, maybe he's just very old and didn't really know where he was. But I was in a Starbucks and this cool, like hipster, cool old Asian man was just sitting there with a smile on his face, enjoying a cup of coffee with a cool little mug that he brought in, a cool little groovy mug. And I said, hey man, that's a cool mug and that's a cool mustache. And he just like smiled real happy at me. Like smiled. He didn't thumbs up, he just smiled at me. And I like thumbs up and awkwardly walked away like, okay, cool. Yeah. I love Asians, dude. But also it's a thing. You just got to deal with them. You got to be defensive around them. You just always got to have a little flex in the knees around them. You just got to always be a little bit on guard around what they're up to. Can't trust them, man. Those eyes are a little sneaky. You know what I mean? They're always up to something. They're always up to something. But the fun, the reason I'm even talking about Asians is it just is crazy though up here seeing them like work manual labor jobs. Like it is pretty wild. Like you know, you walk into like a restaurant or something and just like the busboy, like the cashier and the person cooking the food are all like for real Asian. It just is wild. It's like, it's just, you know, in America these days, it's like we're just getting so used to everything being like Indian and Mexican that it just was kind of weird. Like for the first time in my life, it's like you're driving down the street and you're just seeing Asians running the landscape trucks. You know, it's like 4 Asians hopping out of the landscape trucks and like cutting yards and stuff. It just is weird. I work in landscape and it's the opposite. It's like, it's weird to see a gringo. It's weird to see anyone that's not from Guatemala, Honduras, or Mexico, you know? So yeah, it was just kind of, it's a stark, funny, crazy thing that I guess it's just, there's so many Asians up here that they actually do work the manual labor jobs. It's funny. It was cool. Shout out Asians. I'm still watching you. I'm still on guard around you. And speaking of women, oh my gosh, dude, speaking of women, can we talk about women for a minute? There are these 24-hour coffee drive-thrus, and I'm sure you've seen these. I mean, they're starting to pop up in the South. The more I've gotten over to the West Coast United States, there's a lot more of them. It's a thing. They have literally 24-hour bikini girls in bikinis in these little huts, these little rooms, making coffees, making lattes and sandwiches and stuff for people. Dude, what are we coming to, man? What is like what like where are we at, man? How far have we fallen? What women are taking those jobs? Like, I'm sure the tips are great. And then what does that say about us, dude? Who's going to these coffee shops? Who's choosing to work for these coffee shops? Who are the businessmen who think it's a good idea? Obviously it is. It is a good idea. Fact, it will profit. It will make you money. The girls get the job because it makes them money. But on the bigger picture of things, man, like, is it worth it? Is it worth it, man? Is it worth it to be that gross? To spread sin like that? To be just, yeah, I'm making money. I'm putting food on the table, but I'm spreading filth and degeneracy around, you know? And it's one thing, it's like I didn't go to the thing. I was in a parking lot next to the building, and you still just, without even trying, can just see it, you know? So you have kids just like going around, being able to see this, families seeing this, like, you know, it wasn't like I went out of my way. I was going somewhere. I was like going into a parking lot, turned my head and saw that. That needs to just not be public. That needs to not be happening. And if so, it needs to be happening like over there outside of town, hidden by itself. And you guys can be perverted and sinful out there. Not like at the entranceway to the Walmart, you know, not like in the strip mall entranceway parking lot, you know, where families go. But what are we coming to, man? Ladies, what are we doing, dude? What are we doing? Why are you saying yes to that? I mean, you can get mad at the guys for being the ones that bring the money and like support the business and choose to go to the business, but also like you're not a slave. I mean, you're choosing to apply for that job and work that job, you know, because of the money. What are we doing, ladies? What are we doing? What are we doing, bros? Treat your sisters a little better, you know. Are we cooked? Are we just straight up cooked, chat? Hey, chat, are we cooked or what? Yeah, my new little thing is just telling myself that girls have cooties. That's my new little like okay, Sean, stop thinking lustful thoughts. Okay, yeah, you kind of flirted with that girl. Just walk away. Don't turn back and get the number. Don't ask for a date. Like, you know, don't do it. My little reminder in my head is just girls have cooties. Girls have cooties. Girls have cooties. Remember, girls have cooties. Remember, that girl, she went to Jupiter at one point and she got more soup in her. She's not for you, bro. But I keep encountering pretty women who give me the eyes, you know what I mean? I keep getting the flirtatious, flickering eyes from adorable, cute, pretty women. And I have to just keep reminding myself, Sean, girls have cooties, don't forget. Sean, don't forget. She's a product of Jupiter, where they made her more stupider. She's not for you. You want to go to Mars with all the bros and eat more candy bars, you know? I have so much I want to talk about, and I don't even know how to like not make this 5 hours long. It is pretty crazy. I was in Eastern Washington. So after the last episode finished recording, you know, hit end, packed up my campsite, started driving through Eastern Washington on my way up into the North Cascades, where I stayed a couple nights, and then, you know, then drove over those mountains into Seattle. That drive up, you know, from Eastern Washington, from like Spokane, Pullman area, up into the North Cascades was the craziest 2 hours of my life. It was so crazy, dude. It was so nuts. Like, it was just any other, like I literally, after I hit record, it was like, boop, hit stop. And on my way out of the parking lot, I like for the first time in 3 days, I was at that campsite alone. As I was pulling out, finally a family was pulling in. It was like the first person I had seen in like 3 days. The first human contact I had made in 3 days. Driving on these roads, going up into the mountains, you know, and it was just one thing after another, insane. I turned a corner and almost hit a cow. I mean, a full-on cow just in the road. I had to like swerve to avoid it. Almost, I mean, I literally could have either slammed into this cow full speed, going like 40 miles an hour, or potentially, I mean, Lord helped me. Lord prevented me from flipping, because I swerved and turned and skidded, and I don't know how my truck didn't flip, but we skidded and avoided this cow. And we did a little bit of praying, and we got back on the road a little more cautiously, a little more defensively, you know. Well, I was listening to spaghetti western music. That was the craziest thing. Was I had these like playlists that were like, that's like psychedelic, dark spaghetti western, like western music, and it was pretty like jammy, pretty groovy, you know. But then after, like, it's pretty groovy and jammy, and I'm grooving out to it. I'm like, yeah, you know, that's the vibe, is like rocking the shoulders, like, yeah, I feel like a cowboy, you know. I feel like a modern cowboy climbing up into these mountains, you know. And then after, like, I slowly realized as the events kept happening, it like turned into horror music. It was like at the beginning of this little trip, it was like, yeah, cool music, yeah, groovy tunes. By the end of it, it was like, dude, this is freaky. Like, what is even happening? This is a movie right now. This is an insane, scary horror movie. But I drove by, so I almost flipped. And then I'm driving, I keep driving, and then all of a sudden an ambulance passes me and a cop passes me. And then about 10 minutes later, I pull up, There's no cars on the road, by the way. There's 0 cars, which is creepy. You're like, am I, and it's not like I'm in the middle of nowhere, but it is like, why is there no cars here with me? What's going on? Am I being set up right now? And I'm driving and I'm going, and then I get to this like city, like right at the entranceway of the city, and this car had just flipped over on its side. And I pulled up, and again, there was no cars in front of me. So this car flipped. There was nobody there for 30 minutes maybe, until ambulance passed me, a cop passed him, and then I pulled up. It was just freaky how little traffic there was, you know? And this car was just straight up flipped. Like it had just happened. The dude was like sitting over on the side. I go up to the officer. I'm like, I'm going to go up to him, but I rolled up my window. I'm like, hey, is there anything I can do? Anything I can help with? He's like, no, I just got to leave it to the experts at this point, you know? But it is freaky, like driving up and seeing a full on flipped car, dude, like bloody and shaken up, and knowing it like just happened. And also knowing like just 10 minutes before, like I literally almost did the same thing myself. I was like, dude, that is like me. I was like, as I'm driving by this scene, I was like, dude, that like that should have been me 30 minutes ago. And now I'm like pulling up and witnessing this guy do this. And it's just freaky, man. And then there was just again, I'm on my merry way, no cars. Now I'm wondering, now I'm getting creepy. I'm like, creepy vibes about like, why is there no cars around? Is this road closed or something, you know? It was wild. It was freaky. I'm not doing it justice explaining it with my mouth, but slowly it starts getting dark. So even as we're like getting into the day, it's like 11, it's like 12, and it's getting darker. And then I start smelling campfire. And I'm like, all right, whatever. You're in like parks, you're in a national park, you know? So of course you're like smelling campfire. And then I started seeing signs for, you know, caution, controlled burns ahead. And it starts getting more dark, and the smell starts getting more intense. And then it just out of nowhere. I mean, you kind of turned like this. You kind of turned one way and looped around the mountain and came around the other way, the bend. And it was just flames, dude, both sides of the road. You're driving down this road, and on both sides of you, right? Can you see through the glasses? Like you're going like this, and it's just fire. Not flames, not like a giant inferno, but it's just like this grasses are just like embers and slow, like, you know, maybe foot tall flame. Trees are just black and empty, like they had just been scorched probably for the last week. But it got really crazy, man, just driving and winding and weaving through these like mountain roads, and it's just black. Like everything is just charred or red and orange and like on fire. And the smell was so intense. Like it was so, it was like inside my car. It was like getting hot. The smell was intense. It was so freaky. The roads were so windy. I have this like creepy psychedelic spaghetti western music playing. There's like animals running and scurrying across, you know, as you're going. It was really freaky, man. It was like one of the creepiest. For some reason, there was not even any real danger because there wasn't even like cars on the roads. Like I was actually just kind of at my own pace driving the roads. There was no actual danger. But all of the rest of the aesthetics, like the music, the smell, the feel, the temperature, the look, it was like everything was so scary. But it was just also just kind of like do. Like after the fact, I was like, dude, if I just change the music to something like goofy, like maybe just some like goofy music or something, maybe it wouldn't have been so scary or freaky. But yeah, that was nuts, dude. It was this intense, weird, crazy, unexpected. I was having this great time driving through a national park. And then all of a sudden I'm like almost flipping my truck and then seeing flipped cars and then driving through these mountain roads. The mountain is just literally on fire. It's like an inferno all around me. It was freaky, but we survived. Hey, look, we lived, we survived. Good job, Sean. Good job. So that was cool. And then of course, and then like all of a sudden again, just almost as fast as you turned into that, I like made a couple turns and then you're just like out of it. And it just is back to being like this. Just beautiful, sunshine, like trees everywhere, green everywhere. Again, no cars on the road, just kind of cruising, having a jolly good time. And it was just like, dude, like 3 miles back that way was like a horror movie. and now it's like back to just being this like beautiful national park. It was crazy. Hard to do it justice with words, you know what I mean? But yeah, Eastern Washington was cool. We'll just kind of touch on some things and not get into it. But I love all the like really crunchy, Idaho and Washington are like this a lot. I noticed way more than other places. Like the very like fake homesteady, like crunchy vibe. The very like, look at us, look at how cutesy we are about our homesteading. Look at how cutesy we are with our little farm stands. And then the one I was just like, I had a moment. I'm pumping gas at a gas station, standing there looking at these like cute little flower beds, these raised bed, garden bed flowers, like droopy, viney flowers in between the gas pumps. And it was just like, dude, this is so unnecessary. Like, it's cool. I like it. Hey, why not make things beautiful? But also, it just is like, well, these flowers are going to die because they're underneath like a canopy at a gas station. You planted these flowers. These are temporary flowers. They're real. They're going to die. They're probably not being watered. They're definitely not getting sunlight. And so you're just constantly rotating in new flowers so that like the gas pumps, it's a gas pump, flower bed, trash can, flower bed, gas pump. It's like, we don't need that. You could have put it like anywhere else. We could maybe like spend this money on putting flowers in the park downtown, or maybe doing a little bit better trash cleanup for the rest of the neighborhood. There's other things that we can do to beautify our neighborhoods. I don't think our gas pumps need like cutesy, crunchy homesteader flower beds next to them, Like great attempt. Cool. But maybe, let's just be a little more productive in other areas of our community, that with that energy and time and effort we're putting into something like that, Maybe we could go somewhere else, more productive. I don't know. We're going to talk about gambling and drugs a lot on future episodes. But man, our states, it just seems like states in this country, like most states, it's like their economies are just built on drugs and casinos. Like it really does seem at this point in our country, like where is the money going? It's kind of just moving around between like drug dealers and casinos and casino winners and losers. And I don't know, man, it just seems like a lot of money moving around out of the pockets of like baby boomers who could be passing that money and wealth on to their kids and grandkids, or young people who are like going to these casinos or spending money, wasting their money gambling on sports games and stuff, and just using these drugs, just to get high for the night. So much of our money, dude, our time, our energy, our wealth is being spent on like these temporary thrills of clicking buttons on, machines in casinos, or, playing blackjack at the table, or on their phones doing parlays and bets for sports games, man. There's just so much of our time and energy and wealth is just being like thrown to the mafia. Just like whoever actually is running this, the mafia, did the mafia just take over all of the government? Did the mafia become so big and powerful that it just is the government now? And that's why casinos and drugs are being legalized, so that the mafia can just do. I don't know. I mean, just questions, just speculation here. But there's just so much of it, man. Driving around the country, going from small towns to big cities, all over the country. I've been all over the Midwest, all over the South, now all over the Rocky Mountains, the West Coast. Dude, it's just drugs and casinos and drugs and gambling and sports gambling. All anyone's talking about is all their bets they're putting on sports games. And it's crazy, man. I just wonder how much other cool stuff could we be doing. Like really, really, really cool things we could be building and discovering, places we could be exploring, inventions we could be inventing, like cool stuff, man. Paintings we could be painting, art we could be creating. And instead, we're just on our phones, stringing together parlays and watching sports and sitting down at a chair in a casino, just clicking a button, watching the money move around. It's crazy. So crazy. But hey, That's America. But hey, manifest destiny, am I right? Another part of that crazy, I didn't even talk about that. Another part of the scary drive was that night. So after the scary drive, we drive up the mountain. We go up to this campsite. I'm the only one at this campsite. Super cold, so I don't even set up my tent. It's like crazy cold. I'm like on the top of the North Cascades Mountains, you know, no signal. And in the morning, I wake up and I'm making some pancakes and I'm like starting to pack up. I'm getting ready to go, and these jets just start flying by, really low, really loud, straight up like jets, like supersonic, like military jets. Really low. I mean, to the point where I was like, dude, they're like right there. Really loud. I mean, crazy loud. And I kind of, for real, was like, dude, this is it. Like, they're gonna kill me. Like this is like the Jews got me. They're mad at me. who like Satan has just sent his demons to come slaughter me, to take me out. I'm being SEAL Team 6 right now. I'm being assassinated. I'm being Paul Rudded, or not Paul Rudd. Who's the Paul Walker right now? They're drone striking me right now. They lured me out to the middle of nowhere. No one would even knew what happened. They could make up any story they wanted about what happened, and no one would ever know. And all they'd have to do is just have one of those supersonic advanced jets just click a button. Target locked, missile fired, engaged. He's gone. Target struck. He's gone. We've got him. We got him, boys. Mission command, we got him. So they flew over like a few times. I think they were just doing like training, you know. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's really creepy though. They're really loud. They're pretty scary when you like see them like not very high above you, a couple hundred feet, whatever, maybe 1,000, couple thousand feet above you. So I get in my truck. We're on our merry way. We're like, all right, time to go to Seattle. And as I'm driving in this canyon, the jets kept going over me, almost like they were kind of messing with me. Like, I think they kind of might have been like messing around, messing with me. That's the way it felt. I'm driving on this road down this canyon, and these jets kept like almost like crossing each other, like figure eight crossing each other, like over my head. And as I'm driving, I kept being like, whoa, you know, very loud, like looping, swooping down, like, whoa, dude. I kept like swerving my truck, like, geez, that's crazy. That's intense, you know? And I kept kind of being like, dude, for real, are they after me? I was like, dude, do they have like a tracker on my phone or like a tracker on my truck or something? Like, what are they doing? Like, for real at this point, it's kind of freaky or annoying or scary. I don't really know. So that was like part two. The night before was like this freaky driving through a mountain on fire. And then the next morning was like driving in this canyon with like death jets toying with me, playing around with me. Target acquired, anti-Semite taken out. We got one. We took him out. Mission accomplished. We got the bigot, boys. Executed. So that was crazy. Just like letting go of the wheel, like, oh no, the Jews finally got me. Oh no, this is how it all ends. They finally got me. They lured me out to the middle of nowhere, all alone, no signal. They got me. Those dang Jews, you know. Don't clip that. Don't add that to the highlight reel. Don't clip that. But for real though, I mean, hey guys, Jews. Hey Jews. Can we chill a little bit? Hey Jews, come on. Hear me out real quick. Calm down. Okay? Just calm down, bro. You guys just whew. I mean, a genocide was just committed for 2 years on a live stream. I mean, you guys just destroyed a country, killed 100,000 people, started like 8 wars. You bombed like 8 countries. You've had America bomb like all these countries. Just chill, dude. You've gotten away with so much. You've pushed so intensely, so hard. Just chill, dude. Just chill. It's only going to get bad for you at this point. At this point, you're at the breaking point. You're at your limit almost. And you keep pushing. And trust me, Jews, just chill, dude. If history is any indicator, and it is, it seems to be a pattern of like, you get to a country, you push a little too far, you get a little too involved with the government and stuff, and then some blowback happens. It seems to be a repeating thing. So at this point right now, I think you should just chill. Just let go, calm down. Like, just chill, dude. We can all get along. Maybe not. But my practical advice to you is just, let's not make America 110 or 119 or whatever, wherever we're at right now, Just chill, man. I don't want it to get ugly. I don't want it to get ugly in America. I want America to just be kind of cool and kick it. I want America to be kind of cool. Let's just hang out. Let's be friends. In a nation run and governed by Christians, by Christian men. So that's so much to ask for. Let's just all chill together in America under the leadership of Christian men. I think it'd be much better. I think we could all chill and hang out and have a good time. I think it's possible. We'll talk about more of that on the later stream. So yeah, speaking of geopolitics, USA won the World Series. Again. Who's going to stop us? Who's going to stop us from winning the World Series? Not Canada. You thought wrong, Canada. You ain't going to win the World Series, bro. All we needed, all an American team needed to win the World Series this year was like a bunch of Mexicans and a bunch of Japanese and a bunch of Dominicans, USA. 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 See what I mean? That's like all you need is just you need a team owned and operated by a bunch of Christian men. And all the rest of the team, you can just throw in a bunch of Dominicans and Japs and Spics and just, whites and, hey, have at it, boys. Go win us a World Series. and boy, did they. It is funny that it was like USA versus Canada for the World Series, and the whole roster was just like Dominican and Japanese and Korean and Puerto Rican, American, a bunch of Americans on the Canada team. That was fun. That's funny. USA. We did it again, boys. I did learn. I was watching a game. I was eating at a diner restaurant thing, talking to someone, baseball fan. We were talking about, he's a Mexican. He's a baseball fan. And we were talking about that. He was talking about how he was like, he's scared that the Japanese are coming to replace the Mexicans. Like in 50 years from now, right now it's kind of like the Hispanics, like the South Americans, the Central Americans kind of have this like grapple hold on like baseball overall. As just kind of like being the best region, the best people group that is active participants in the game of baseball. But we were talking about how he's like, it's inevitable. Like these Japanese and Korean guys are just so much better. They take it more seriously. The kids are more intense about it, and there's more of them. So they're gonna like kind of slowly take over the game. We were talking about that. But it was funny because he brought this up, and I kind of heard this, but I didn't realize how real it was. And I was asking him, like, is that real? And he was like, yeah, it's like for real. But Mexico loves Dragon Ball Z. Do you guys know this? Have you heard about this? Hey, are you Mexican? Hey, Mexican. Hey, my Mexicans. Hey, homies. Hey, cabrons. Hey, cabrons. Hey, way. Let's be honest. Here. Let's talk. Amigo to amigo. Hombre to hombre. Is it true? Mexico loves Dragon Ball Z. This guy was saying if you go to Mexico City, you just see like Goku spray painted everywhere. Like piñatas and like on the sides of buildings. And he was like, businesses just make their like logos. Like they're like, little tacos. It'll be like Oscar's Taco Shop. And it'll just be like Goku. And he's like, if I went there, you'd just be like, what does that mean? Like, what is this like, why? He's like, yeah, you just go to random shops and it just is like Goku and Dragon Ball Z everywhere. It's funny. So now I want to go to Mexico and see what's up. Hey, Mexicans, in the comments, let me know what's up with. Why are you guys so obsessed with Dragon Ball Z? Why is that a thing? I'm just curious. But we were talking about it because it's funny because it's like the Asian Mexican thing of like Asians and Mexicans kind of have this like weird rivalry / love connection. They like love each other. And you saw it play out with like the LA Dodgers. You know what I mean? You had like a team full of like Japanese and Mexicans becoming best friends, brothers, fighting and winning the World Series together. It was just funny. There's like a weird, funny Mexican-Japanese love fest rivalry thing going on. So keep your eye on that. When World War III breaks out, let's see if they like join up, or let's see if they kind of have like a love-hate, you know, enemies against each other kind of thing when everyone takes sides in the upcoming World War III. Yeah, beaver edits. Out of context. We're not going to talk about a lot of this stuff. Beaver edits are funny. I looked up one search on my Google. I was like, I saw a beaver on the side of the road, and I kind of thought for a second. I'm like, just thinking about beavers. Like, dude, they're pretty cool. I never really like thought about them or never really like investigated them. Like, obviously, I know pop culture things about them. I've seen them in cartoons. I kind of understand the concept of what they do. They make a dam. But I was like, I'm going to do a deep dive on beavers, dude. I've never really like investigated these guys. I do one little like 20-minute, like I did a Google search and then I watched a little YouTube video about beavers. And for the next month, the last month of my life has just been beavers on, and this isn't a dirty thing. Don't think it isn't dirty at all. I'm 100% talking about authentically the animal beavers. There's just beavers everywhere. Like my Instagram algorithm, my TikTok is just edits, like hype videos of beavers building dams. I'm like, everything has just been like beavers. Like for some reason, it's like these like clothing apparel companies with beaver themed stuff on it. I'm like, dude, I did one Google search. I got curious about one thing for like 20 minutes of my life, and then I forgot about it. And then for about a month, my phone would not stop reminding me about beavers. But honestly, I'm just a fan. It's not even like annoying. It's not bad. It's just like, it's funny. It's like these videos on Instagram are like for real, like, you know how I do like intense hype videos for like, you know, like a football player, and it's just a highlight reel of him scoring touchdowns and breaking tackles. But it's like a highlight reel of like a beaver, like, you know, gnawing at a tree stump and like knocking a tree over and like dragging tree limbs and pushing mud, you know, as like making a dam, you know. Just like a hype video, like an edit video, like a highlight reel of a beaver making a dam. It's funny. It's funny. It's cool. I'm not saying I hate it. It just is like kind of weird. My last month of my life has been my phone just telling me about beavers. So I've just been all in, man. Beaver edits, beaver hype videos. And then it turned into rotating animals. It just went, hey, you know when you think, when you have that thought, when you're like thinking to yourself, you're like, man, I feel like I've seen just about every rotating animal video there is. You know, I feel like I've been on the internet a lot, and I feel like I've seen just about every single rotating animal video there is to see. How many could there possibly be of animals rotating? You know, going in circles or being like pushed and pulled by the wind or by a current or something, you know, just in one way or another, you just have like an animal rotating in circles, spinning in circles around and around, you know. Just when you think, man, I've seen it all. I've seen them all. There's more. Oh boy, is there more. There are full accounts on Instagram dedicated to just providing you with more and more videos of just animals rotating around in circles. And that has just been my phone for the last month. Beavers and rotating animals. I don't know, man. I built that algorithm brick by brick, and I don't know how we ended up there. I thought I was building a house. It turns out I built like a playground. I thought I was building a mansion. Turns out I built, something else. Some autistic, insane, schizophrenic thing over here, you know? It's just a pile of rubble over here. I thought I was building a house. My phone is just that. Rotating animals and beaver edits. But the one thing I do want to talk about, rant time. We're going to rant a little bit. Rant time. I pull into the state of Washington. I didn't really notice what was going on at first. I went to a couple different grocery stores. I was like, huh, that's weird. I usually don't get a bunch of stuff anyways. I'm like road tripping. So I usually like carry stuff out with me anyways. But I went to one grocery store and I was like, there's not even any bags here. That's kind of weird. Whatever, I'll carry my stuff out anyways. And then I realized after about the third or fourth store that they don't do bags. They don't have plastic bags. It's a statewide law or whatever about like these freaking plastic bags and plastic silverware. So everywhere you go has paper bags. They don't have bags. And they have silverware that is wood, made out of like little cheap balsa wood. And every restaurant tries to really push on you like for here cups. You know, you go to a coffee shop or a restaurant or something, and they always just have these really weird, don't really function well, like plates and dishes and cups and forks and spoons, you know? Because they're trying to be like quirky and funny and cool about like not giving you like, you know, styrofoam or plastic or whatever. It's so annoying, dude. It's so gay. It's so annoying, dude. It's been so... I mean, I got a burrito one time, and the lady handed it to me like it was like a bag of weed. Like, you know, and then the dispensaries when they give you like bags of weed, and it's like a cloth sack, like a little, almost like you wouldn't be able to put a bunch of groceries in it. Like it's kind of small, but it's like that recycled like sack cloth material, but like recycled. And it's like, dude, it's just a burrito. Could you just hand me the burrito? You don't have a bag for the burrito? Come on, man. I don't want to feel like I'm buying weed right now. All I want to do is be fat and gluttonous and eat this burrito in peace. Going to places like where I was at somewhere, I needed a knife and fork. Wood. You have like a little wooden, you know, crappy wood, not very sturdy, with little ridges kind of etched into it, like a little butter knife with little ridges etched into the wood. It just isn't, it's not even going to cut paper. Like it doesn't even cut anything at all. Why? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? And the most retarded thing ever is like you're going into these stores. Like the whole concept is, okay, we want less plastic bags everywhere. We want less plastic everywhere. We want to recycle things more. You know, we want to be eco-friendly. We want to be more green, you know. I get it. Noble concept. I get it. You want to pat yourself on the back and feel like you're helping the environment. I get it. I understand. But the logic just isn't there. It's so retarded, dude. You're going into a store that's just full of food that's full of microplastics. And then you're filling up your shopping cart with microplastic food that's wrapped in plastic and styrofoam. And then you're taking it, you're checking out, but you can't put it in a bag that's plastic because that's bad. That's bad for the environment. So you have to put all your plastic crap into a paper bag and carry your paper bag full of all your plastic crap in it to your car that's made out of plastic to take it home to your house that's made out of plastic. It's like everything is so plastic, except for bags. This is the one and only thing that we're going to like be stubborn and stupid about and really hold our ground on is we're not going to have plastic forks. Starbucks will not let you get a plastic fork. They will not give you a plastic straw. They will not give you a plastic bag. But they will definitely make a little panini that's wrapped in plastic. They will rip that off and put it in their oven and put it in a bag and give it to you. You know what I mean? It just is so dumb. It's like if you're going to do it all the way. And if you're not going to do it, well, then let me just get some plastic bags. The thing that really grinds my gears about it, and we'll talk about this on the episode where we really dive into the homelessness stuff and what's going on with that and what I've been doing with that. But a lot of these people don't have bathrooms. These people that live on the streets, they don't have bathrooms. And a lot of times their bathroom is they grab two handles of a plastic bag and they use it. You know what I mean? Like they use it, they tie it up, they find a dumpster, they put it in. And that's their bathroom. You know? Sorry, yeah, it's gross. Sorry, that's inconvenient, but that's true. And when there's not plastic bags everywhere, when cities like Seattle are being so adamant about not having any plastic bags anywhere, well, then homeless people just like don't have that option. They can't do that into an awkward, weird brown paper bag that can't tie up. They're not going to do that in a to-go grocery store paper bag. You know what I mean? So what they do is they just do this on the sidewalk or in a park or on the street, you know, on your car. They will lean on your car and use it as a backstop to go to the bathroom. And so these places that think they're doing such a good job with the environment, what they're doing is not letting these homeless people have readily accessible plastic bags for them to use as, you know, you think about if you have a dog, you have a doggy bag. Homeless people have a people bag, a human bag, whatever you want to call it. But if you don't have those everywhere readily available for them, they're just going to go on the streets. So good job, Washington. The attempts to keep this place beautiful and pure and clean has backfired greatly. All you have to do is walk around Seattle at night. You know, walk around 3rd Avenue at night, 3rd and Pine, 3rd and Pike in Seattle, and you can see that your attempts are backfiring horribly. And yeah, I mean, I'm not the jerk for pointing it out either. I was talking to someone about this too, and they're like getting mad at me. I'm like, dude, I'm not, it's like, I love the environment. I also don't buy all the bull crap about global warming. I'm also not buying your fake studies and your surveys and your skewed statistics and your fears about climate change and everything, you know. God's got us, dude. We're good. We're under control. Like, we're not going to destroy this planet. Like, God will destroy us. God will stop us from destroying this place before we destroy this place. We're good. But we are going to messy it up. We are going to dirty it up. We are going to pollute it. We are going to like take beautiful things like this, pave over it with concrete, make things ugly and stupid and unnatural, you know. There's a lot of bad we can do to the environment. We're also not going to kill it. But there's also a lot of practical things we can do to, like, I don't know, make our lives not living hell. Make our streets not like walking down, stepping in human crap everywhere in your attempt to pat yourself on the back and feel like you're doing a good thing for the environment. The epitome of it is just showcased in, you know, you go to these stores all around Seattle and they have these big displays about recycling and these big, you know, recycling bins everywhere. And, you know, you go to a store and it's like these 2 holes. One is for recycle and one is for landfill. And they make a big sign that says landfill, you know, and like almost like ominous handwriting, like bad. You don't want to put your trash in the landfill hole. You'd be a bad person if you put your trash in the landfill hole. Make sure you're using the recycle hole correctly. Put your recyclable things in the recycle hole. Don't put it in the bad, naughty, evil, mean landfill hole. But if you just look down into the holes, they're both the same bag. You know, it's like in the countertop are 2 holes. One says recycle. Good job. Pat yourself on the back. You're a good boy. Good boy. You did the recycling. You put the recycle in the recycle hole. Good job. You're a good boy. Pat yourself on the back now. You get a gold star. Good job. And over here's the bad hole. Ooh, spooky, mean, evil, bad. You're not good if you're putting stuff in the bad hole, the landfill hole, the trash hole. But if you just look into the bottom of both holes, no matter where you put your things, it both ends up in the same place, which is the same bag, which is tied up and thrown into a dumpster. You know? So don't tell me I'm a bad guy. Don't try to frame me as a bad guy because I put my stuff in a trash hole when you pat yourself on the back for pretending like you're saving the environment when you're not either, okay? Don't get mad at me because I'm a good guy. Don't get mad at me and call me the bad guy just because I'm pointing out the problem, just because I'm pointing out that things aren't really as they seem, as you're led to believe they are, you know? Just because I shake your reality a little bit doesn't make me the bad guy. I just want the truth, man. I'm just a pursuer of the truth, a pursuer of knowledge, a philosopher in the true sense of that word, you know? Pursuing knowledge. And don't hate me, man. Hate the truth. I'm all about keeping this place beautiful, dude. I want this place to be so awesome and clean and pure and beautiful. I don't know if you can see it down there. There's a little, look at that little creek down there. Look at that little creek all the way down there at the bottom of this big old canyon. But that water is like so pure and clean, dude. And I want as little trash and garbage and oil, all the oil that just accumulates on this and the rain just washes it down the concrete, downhill. It just keeps going. Water keeps taking all the sludge and trash and debris with it as it goes from high to low point, trying to find its level at the sea level. And it just takes everything with it along its way. All the trash, all the oil, all the sludge, downhill with it, down to the purest, cleanest, bluest stream I've ever seen in my life down there. Yeah, I don't want that thing being grossed up and abused and polluted, crapped on, crapped in. Yeah, I love the environment. I care about the environment, but we also need to not be like retarded about it. And we also need to think like we're not saving the world by like, putting all of our plastic stuff into paper bags. We could do a lot more of like not buying the plastic stuff to begin with. A lot more sacrifices could be made. And I think it's just foolish for us to think like a little bit of a sacrifice here or there, like not having a plastic bag, carry all my plastic stuff from inside the store to my house. Yeah, I don't know what I'm even ranting about, but I just think it's annoying, I guess, that people want to like kind of pretend like they're doing a good job, pat themselves on the back for doing a good job, and then really use it as like a leverage thing against you. You're a bad guy because you're not doing that, or you're a bad guy because you're pointing out how this isn't really helping. I want to pat myself on the back and feel good. I want to pretend like I'm saving the world. I want to be a superhero. Just let me put my stuff in the recycle hole and act like I'm a superhero. And I'm over here just like, nah, yeah, good job, dude. Have fun, but it's not really helping. Ooh, hiss, evil, bad, don't point that out. I need to pretend I'm a superhero. Couple of funny quotes. I went to a Husky football game, the University of Washington. Just so happens like the day I get to town, the day two I'm in Seattle, they're playing Illinois, my hometown team. I'm from Champaign, Illinois. Grew up in Illinois, fighting Illini football, basketball fan. And they just happened to be in town. So I went to watch my team get dominated. So I'm in the stadium. I'm the only one there in orange. I'm like the only person there that's not in purple or gold. No, there's a few people, there's a few other people, but it just was like, you're in enemy territory. They just don't even care. They're so confident from start to finish they're going to win. They don't even care. The stadium's not even full. Illinois is like a top 25 team. They don't even care. They just know they're going to win. And they did. So that was fun, just watching the whole game, your team just getting dominated. Just like it's like you're watching your team show up and it's like a bunch of boys and you're just playing a team full of men and you're just like, oh, this isn't going to be good. Oh, I bought tickets and we're here for the next 3 hours to just watch this not be good. Great. And then, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, it was raining. It was cold and raining. It would rain. Everyone would put their jackets on. 10 minutes later, it would stop raining. Everyone would take their jackets off. It was sunny. People would take their sweatshirts off. It's like sunny and hot all of a sudden. And then it gets cloudy again and then windy again. So now people are putting their sweatshirts back on. And then it starts raining again and it's back to being like 40 degrees and raining. People are putting their raincoats on. It was a time, man. It was not fun. It would have been fun if my team was winning. It was not fun sitting there enduring it all, watching your team just from start to finish get dominated, But there was actually some funny women. You know how women like aren't funny comedians, but like they can be really funny? Like when they're like together and they have like a couple of the people in the group are real fun and outgoing, extroverted, loud, but in like a good way, like a funny way. They were like clever, witty, funny women in front of me. It was a fun time. We had a fun time, a little banter going back and forth. But at one point, I just thought it was so funny. It was like very profound, but they were like kind of saying it in like a drunk, funny way. But they do this thing where they take their hats off at kickoff. So as the home team's about to kick off, everyone takes their hats off and does like a little ritual thing, a little like, shake your hat or something. And I asked him at one point, I'm like, what's that all about? Like, what's this? Like, where did this come from? Like, why do you guys do this? And this girl was just drunk. And she's like, I don't know, man. Just groupthink. Just groupthink, I think. And it was just so funny. The way she said it was so funny because she said it in such like a drunk, like, I don't know. But it was like very profound. It was like, yeah, that literally is like the heart and core issue of it, is it's just groupthink. It's like someone does something goofy and a few people, and one guy in the student section does something. He's drunk and he does something, like takes his hat off, and it's just like, yeah, come on. And some people think it's funny, like we talked about on the last stream, how to make a movement. You get a few other people that are like, hey, what Brad's doing down there is funny. And so they start taking their hats off and they start doing the thing too. And then everyone else is like, I don't even know what's going on, but like these 20 people are doing this thing. Let's all start doing it. And now you just have a whole stadium of people doing this like hat thing where they take their hats off at a certain time in unison on command every time without question. And then some guy like me shows up and is like, hey, what's up with this? Like, where did this come from? What is this about? Who started this? And everyone's like, I don't know. We just do it. Like, eventually it just becomes like, I don't know, man. It's just like what the group does. Like, I'm a part of the group. Like I have the W on my chest. I go to the school, or I'm from this city. Like, I'm in this group. I'm in the cult that is Washington Huskies football. And I don't know, man, we all do this thing. So like when the time comes, like I just do the thing because like the group just does it. And I just thought that was so funny because she said it in such like I don't know, group think or something. But it's so true. It's like literally factually like someone somewhere started a movement and now we're seeing the end result. And at this point, it's like so far gone that people don't even know like what it is or what it's about or why it started in the first place. You just go through the motions of just doing what the group does. No questions, no doubts, no detractors, no slowing it down, the full speed ahead. No one can hold us back. The group is moving. The group is in charge. The group is going. The other quote I thought was funny that someone said was, he was talking about when he went to school here, and he was going on this whole rant about like, yeah, when I was at school, blah, 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 and then this, and we used to do this, and there used to be this. And then he caught himself, and it was just so funny to me because I do the same thing, is by the end of your rant, you're like, oh, I'm being like an idiot right now. I'm being an idiot. Like, I'm kind of a meme right now. So by the end of your rant, you kind of wrap it up with like memeing yourself or mocking yourself. But I love this. He said, I wrote it down. He said, and in conclusion, back in my day, everything was better. And I love that. And I've been just like I remind myself now whenever I'm like dealing with women, I'm like, dude, just remember girls have cooties. And it just puts everything else, it just reframes everything, brings you back down to reality, grounds you, levels you out, refocuses your mindset about what you're doing and dealing with. The other little phrase in my life is just, back in my day, everything was better. Because don't we all just have that mindset all the time about everything? Every generation, every like period of time just thinks like, back in my day, back in my day, we used to have music. It used to be real music, played with real instruments. Back in my day, music was better. Back in my day, food was better. Back in my day, this. Back in my day. It's just it's a funny like excuse to just like, and everyone does it because I now hear kids, people who are younger than me, I catch myself doing that. And I'm now even hearing people younger than me. Like I'm hearing like 26-year-olds be like, back in my day, everything was better on campus. And it's like, dude, you were just there like 3 years ago. What are you talking about? It's just funny. It's a good little frame. Those are the two little phrases in my life that have kind of like put things into perspective of like, don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take things too seriously, Kind of reframe yourself. Get yourself back to just being like, oh yeah, it's not a big deal. Oh yeah, I know I was getting anxious and worried and angry about that and scared about that. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's like not a big deal, actually. You're just complaining because it's not the way you like things. You're just complaining because you're not in control right now, because you're not in control of the situation when you used to be. Or in your memories, you can control your memories. You can selectively choose the good times and selectively ignore all the bad times from the past. And so when you're reminiscing about all the good times, you're thinking about all the good things, the good times, the good feelings, the good moments, the good experiences, because your brain has selectively chosen the good things that you've experienced to remember and to resonate with and to linger on, to think about. And has selectively removed all the bad things. But then in your moment right now, in your reality right now, you can't do that. So you have to experience the good and the bad at the same time. So you can easily see and know and feel and experience the bad stuff and be like, man, back in my day, things were great. Today, things suck. And it's like, no, dude, it was probably over here in your day. It was just as crappy, if not more crappy. Your brain is just ignoring all the crap and forgetting all the crap. And in the present moment, your brain can't ignore all the crap. So you're just sitting here being like very aware and very viscerally feeling and experiencing the good and the bad. But all of us can say, back in my day, back in my memories, back over here in my memory bank, that I have selectively chosen the things I want to remember and hold on to and experience again in my mind. Those are the only things I know and experience and can remember. So it's just funny, and just always remember that. Back in my day, things are better. Just to kind of reframe it. Like, were they? Like, they probably weren't. In your mind, they are. It's not a good or bad thing overall either, but it's just kind of a funny way to reframe your mindset in the current state. Because if your current state is you're focused and lingered on all the bad stuff happening, just remember 10 years from now, you'll probably be mad at yourself for neglecting all the good times and experiences and things you could have been doing right now in this current moment. Because you're focused and worried and anxious and fearful and scared. You're not taking risks and taking chances. Like in 10 years from now, you're like, man, I wish I would have done that thing. Man, I wish I would have asked that girl out at the office. That could have been my wife, man. I wish I would have asked her out. Man, wish I would have taken that vacation, that trip. Man. Why did I bring that up? Because in your future, you don't want to look back and say man, I was living in fear. I was living in anxiety. I was living in worry. I was living in negative thoughts that really put a hindrance on living that moment of time to its fullest. When I'm in a national park, I'm worried and occupied and caught up with stuff, plans and stress and money and things and time, instead of just taking a few moments to be like, dude, this is awesome. Dude, isn't this sick? Dude, isn't this sick? Isn't this cool? Just take it in, experience it, live it up, And in 5 years from now, when I come back to this place, and I have a family, and I'm stressed out, and I'm back in my day, it used to be so much better out here. I don't even really know where I'm going with all this. I guess in general, my point is just reframe your mindset to not take the present for granted. And don't knock the present. Don't just be a negative Nancy about your present state. Oh yeah, things now aren't as good as they used to be. Well, they still are good. And they actually probably are better than they used to be. You're just selectively editing and choosing your memories and your moments and your experiences to come to that conclusion. But stop coming to that conclusion. Stop being in your head. All thoughts are all lies all the time. Ignore those thoughts. Get rid of those thoughts and live in your present moment being I'm going to make the most of this. This moment today and going forward, I'm going to make the most of this. I'm going to look at this with open eyes. Not Asian eyes, but open eyes. Fully open, optimistic, bright, hopeful eyes that say, I can make the most of this moment. I can live this experience up to its fullest. I will take advantage of all the opportunities I'm given. I will take what is here right now, what is given to me, and I will make it better. And then tomorrow I'll keep doing the same thing. I'll repeat that process over again. Instead of lingering in this things used to be better, so I'll just give up. Everything's going downhill. Who cares? Why even try? It's just going to get worse going forward in the future. Because you'll make that a reality. You will almost prophetically make your future worse for yourself. Having that mindset. But I just like, the only reason I even like thought about thinking about that was this guy was like ranting and complaining about, oh, this sucks and this sucks. And he corrected himself. And by the end, he was like, yeah, back in my day, everything was better. And he kind of like laughed at himself. He was like, yeah, I mean, things are still pretty cool. This place is still really beautiful. We were on the campus walking to the football game. And it's like, this campus is beautiful. People are having fun. People are with their families and friends having fun. Like, this place is still really cool, dude. You know, don't let your thoughts about like your selectively chosen memories from the past edit and alter how you're going to experience your present right now. You know, live in your right now to its fullest. Be hopeful and optimistic. Make the most of it. Be laughy and jokey with your friends. Hug them. Take pictures with them. Remember those moments, man, because 30 years from now, you're going to think of even that day. That day you were being a bummer, being like, man, things used to be so much better 5 years ago. Well, 5 years from now, you're going to have that same thought and almost be mad at yourself for 5 years ago, taking for granted that day where you were like mad about it not being as cool as it was 5 years before that, you know? Don't ruin your today thinking about the past, you know? Because you're just going to keep doing that. That's going to be a repeatable cycle where 5 years from now, you'll have that same thought. 10 years from now, you'll have that same thought, you know? Choose today to just live well. Live well now. Live well. Just do it. Just do it. Live well now. Yeah. Woo, go. Let's go. Live well. Live well on 3. 1, 2, 3. Live well. Live well on me. 1, 2, 3. Live well. Yeah, are people okay? That was my question. That was a good question I had at the whole game. I had all these philosophical thoughts at the football game. Sitting in my misery, sitting in the cold, wet, loud. I mean, they built their stadium to be super crazy loud. So it's like head ringing loud. It's like this echo. The stadium is built to like echo and make noise resonate. So you just have a headache in the stadium, you know? I don't know what it was about it, man. Maybe I was coming off of like being at a high elevation for like the previous few weeks. In this loud stadium, it's cold, it's rainy. There's a football game that's not going well for my team. And I was just sitting there having like the most deep, crazy, profound philosophical thoughts about everything. And everyone around me was just so retarded, dude. Just before, during, after the game, like everyone was so dumb, dude. It was hard to believe how dumb people were. Just in every way. Like inconsiderate dumb, sloppy dumb, like drunk dumb, but also just dumb. It's like, dude, you're like a student at this campus. Like, I couldn't test well enough to get into this school. Somehow you're at this school passing the tests and you're so dumb that you don't even know how to like Google search something. It's like, how did you get here? I'm going around Seattle, driving around at just everyone being so reckless and so bad at driving. It's like, how are you still alive? How did you get here? How do you function? How do you, every day, how do you get in your car, go to work, go to whatever you do, and then go home and repeat that cycle every day and you haven't died yet? You're such a bad driver. I have watched you in the last 5 minutes almost die twice. How are you not dead yet? And are we okay? And that's what I was saying earlier. Is like, dude, people just have to be on drugs, man. It has to be drinking. It has to be drugs. People are such bad drivers. Or are we just so dumb, dude? Our phones making us stupid? Is AI making us stupid? Like, is something making us dumb? Just to the point of like not there. It's like, it's not that we are dumb. It's like our brains, it's like something has taken our brains and turned the level down so that it's not optimal. You know what I mean? It's not fully optimal. It's only like we're using about like 30% of our brain's capacities, you know? Someone or something is like taken our brains and like dialed down the abilities, the capabilities that they have. And instead it's just turned us all into like zombies. And I had this thought because Boise State's football game, when I went to the Boise State game, it was nice. It was very wholesome. It was all these white people, very wholesome. And there was, for some reason, I don't know if Boise has something going on with it or if the team or the stadium or something, but there was an abnormal amount of like specials. You know what I mean? Like littles, like little people and littles and like handicaps and like specials. You know what I mean? You know, it's just like those people, but in a very nice way, very wholesome families, a lot of littles. It was like a shocking amount of little people, but very nice. They were very polite. They were very nice. Like it was like a very wholesome, good atmosphere. And for some reason, Boise State had a lot of those kind of like special people there. And I had this thought at the end of the Washington game, because at the end of the game, I'm leaving the stadium, looking around, just listening to people, watching people just be so dumb. I was like, man, Boise State had all the specials, but Washington has all the retards. Because, man, were people just acting so retarded. And it's not even like I'm not even trying to be mean or trying to be funny necessarily. It is just like for some reason, people have like, there's like a crank that's gone like a retard crank. Everyone's retard levels have just been cranked up or cranked down, whatever it looks like, whatever direction that actually goes on the retard dial. whichever direction the retard dial goes, it's been turned up or it's been turned down, whichever way. Because boy, oh boy, man, boy, oh boy, are people just dumb. Beer doesn't help. You know, you're watching, you start a football game out and you're sitting in your seat and you kind of start to make, I do at least, I start to make friends with all the people around me. And, you know, the first quarter, everyone's, you know, getting drunk. They have beers. They're funny. They're friendly. They're doing a little bit of cheering. They're doing a little bit of trash talk, booing, yada, yada. We're talking, we're mingling, we're making friends. And then by like the end of the third quarter, when like the people are like, hey, you want another beer, bro? And I want to be like, dude, no, he does not want another beer. You don't either. Sit down. Stop. I've seen you guys go get 6 beers. You guys have made 6 trips to go to the bathroom and go get beers. Stop. Right now, stop. You don't need another beer. You're good. You're beyond good. You can't even speak correctly. You can't even formulate sentences. I barely trust you to even walk down these steps on your own right now. And yet you're going to get more beers. Hey, you want a beer? Hey, you want a beer? Hey, yeah, okay, yeah, you want a beer? And he just comes back with like 8 more beers. You're like, dude, stop. Dude. Stop. So not only are people all the way turned up on the retard dial, but they like then choose to, in addition, make themselves more retarded by just downing beers. Just so unnecessarily, you know? It's crazy, man. When you're sober too, like I'm sober, so I see something like that and it just is so appalling. It is just such like a, you don't need it, bro. Like you really don't need it. You think you need it, you feel like you need it, you feel like you really, really want it or whatever, or it's like a little treat you've earned or something, or it's gonna heighten the day. It just is so bad, man. There's really overall no good to it. And yet we do it, and we do way too much of it, and everyone does it. And when you're sober, you start to really see it, man. You start to really see it and really feel it. And you start to really see the bigger picture of how much it's like dulling the senses of the population. How just being out of your right mind, you know, being in a state of drunkenness, a state of non-sobriety, whatever that looks like, taking antidepressants, taking, you know, opiates, or all this fentanyl crap going around in Seattle, and all this meth and all these, you know, uppers and stuff. In addition to all the weed that's being legalized and all the drinking going on at these stadiums, there's like so much of this just like, I don't want to live in my right mind. I can't live in my right mind. I have to alter it. I can't live in my normal sober body as God made me to exist. I have to alter it. I have to adapt it. I have to adjust it. I have to be in control of my body and my mind. And I'm going to adjust the levels through trial and error and find the right self-prescribed medication. And I just look around and I'm like, man, everyone's so retarded. Oh yeah, they're probably just drunk and on drugs. Oh yeah, they're probably just drunk. Oh yeah, they're probably just on drugs. Oh yeah, I forgot. They're Asian. Oh yeah, I forgot. They're just weird. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, they're just women. They have cooties. Oh, I forgot. They just have child brains and they have cooties. Oh yeah, silly me. for forgetting that. But being sober in a very unsober world, it's like being an honest guy in a very, like a world full of lies, you know? You're the crazy person. I'm the crazy person. Like, I tell people that too. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sober. I was with a group of people, and we were all like, let's go out. And I was like, yeah, I'll come with. And they're like, yeah, come on. What do you like to drink? Do you like martinis? Blah, blah. I was like, oh no, I don't drink, but I'll come with. And they were like kind of shocked. I guess I just start the whole story over. So I stayed a couple nights in a hostel. I was in a hostel right off of Pike's Place in downtown Seattle, right in the heart of like literally a block away from Pike's Place Market. It's this cool little, very liberal, very like, I'm pretty sure like 3/4 of the people there are probably like members of the Communist Party, very like Antifa liberal kind of people. They did not like me. I was just my normal self, friendly. The girls at the front desk liked me, and everyone else at that hostel, they just could feel my masculinity. I mean, I could just feel them like judging me and not liking me. But I kind of made friends. I was sitting there minding my own business, eating my dinner, reading a book. These people started talking to these people. They're like inviting me out. They're like, we're going to go to this bar. You want to come? And I was like, oh yeah, I might come. I might join you is what I was saying. Like, yeah, tell me where the bar is and I might meet up with you guys. But I probably wasn't gonna. But they were like, yeah, we're going to this bar. It's more of like a whiskey bar. Like, it's more like a cocktail, whiskey. Do you like that? Or do you want to go to a beer place? Because later we're going to go to a beer place. So if you like beer, just meet us later after that. And I'm like, dude, I don't really care. I don't drink. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm sober. Like, I don't drink. And he just could not. It's like, and this has happened multiple times in my sobriety for the last 6 years, is people just they can't even believe it. Like, what? It like rocks them to their core. Like, they're just like, that's not possible. Like, you're lying to me. How do you live? And they literally ask me that. They're like, what do you do for fun? Like, what do you do on the weekends? I'm like, I don't know, bro. I just gotta like live. I have fun. I laugh. I joke. I read. I explore. I go to art museums. I go to football games. I help homeless people. Walk around, look at cool things. Walk around, hike parks, camp at parks, stare at bonfires, read a lot, listen a lot, play games. Like, I live life. And you acting like I don't live life because I'm not spending my Friday night like in a bar taking shots with people who can barely formulate sentences and who are like one mean comment away from like starting a fight or like bawling their eyes out because they're sad about something that has nothing to do with me or this night. And just like walking on eggshells, being on edge around people who are like overly emotional and overly violent and on edge, and they're drinking to escape their reality because they have some kind of problem going on. And you're just in this environment where everything's getting so intense and crazy and loosey-goosey. But because I don't want to go deal with that drama and stress and insanity and the physical drawbacks of getting hangovers and spending my money on that stuff, puking it all out anyways, I'm the crazy one for not wanting to do that, And instead I'm like, hey, I want to come out and like see like cool mountains and forests and like hike and camp and talk to people and meet people and help people. I'm the crazy one. And I'll take it. You know what? I'll take it. You know what? I'll accept your criticism. Yeah, this dude was like, what do you do? I was like, oh no, I don't drink. He's like, oh, well, what do you do then? Like, what do you even do for fun? Like, why are you even here right now? Like, you're in Seattle. Like, what are you doing, dude? Why aren't you drinking in Seattle? I was like, I don't know, man. I'm like going to see cool things and walk around and do fun things. Like, leave me alone, dude. I'm just a poor, innocent boy just trying to have some fun, just trying to see the country, do some good, help some people, see some cool things. Just because I don't want to like lose my reality. Because I don't want to join you in like losing my reality tonight. Means I'm like not a cool guy. It means I'm like up to something. Why did I even start talking about that? Something about sobriety or something? But yeah, just overall, man, we're just too we are too drunk, man. We do need to get sobered up overall. My friends need to get sober. I need to get sober in a lot of ways. I need to really get off caffeine. That's my big problem right now. Because I guess I still take quote unquote drugs. I drink way too much caffeine. So that's my drug of choice. Also, I eat too much. I'm too gluttonous. It's like I have replaced the feeling of being high with the feeling of being like full. Like eating a good meal and feeling full and taking a nice nap, like that is my high. And that doesn't even make me better or worse. It's a different kind of high. It's a different drug. It's a different escaping my reality, trying to feel good instead of do the right thing, instead of live well in the moment. And isn't every high just what we were just talking about? Back in my day, it was better. Back when I was high, things felt good. Man, wouldn't this be more beautiful if I was high like I used to be? Back in my day when I smoked weed and made everything like taste better and look better and feel better and be more fun, wouldn't this be so much better if I was high? Back in my day, everything was better. It's like, or do you take a pause? Do you take a moment and just soak this in and just say, you know what? Actually, this is really dope and awesome. It's hard to believe this is even real. It's hard to believe that this is like real life, that this is a real thing, that God made this and put us here, and we are a part of this reality, that we get a chance to experience this insanity, this craziness. And you know what? I don't need drugs. I don't need to be drunk or high to make this any better than it is. I can sit in this moment and experience it for what it is. Glorious, beautiful, magnificent, impressive, inspiring in so many ways. But that mindset of like, well, it used to be better, or man, it could be better if, wouldn't this be better if something else? If I had a wife with me, if I smoked a joint before this, if I had a shot of whiskey with me, wouldn't this be better if? And while you're in your head and you're in your thoughts thinking about what could be or what used to be or what has been or what you ought to be doing, you're taking up your time and energy that could be spent just enjoying this, dude. Appreciating this, like beholding this, living in this moment, enjoying this, taking everything in. And obviously your life isn't going to be a bunch of moments like this. It's going to be monotonous driving to work, dealing with coworkers, going to church, driving your kids to sports games, It's going to be not fun things, not beautiful things, not cool things. But you can still make the most of it. You can still be as righteous and as good and as useful and helpful as possible in all of your moments, all the days, all of your time spent here in this short life, in this temporary place. You can live in it fully, or you can get caught up in what it used to be or what it could be or what it ought to be. Or you could just let go, trying to be in control and just experience what God is letting you experience. Let go and let God just let you live. Let you experience Him and His creation to its fullest. In the big, awesome, beautiful, profound moments like this, beholding something awesome and crazy like this, or just in your day-to-day lives, filing papers, driving to work, stacking chairs after church, whatever little thing you're doing, whatever thing in your present moment you're doing, live it to its fullest and reframe your minds, because no, everything was not better in the past. No, this moment would not be better with a shot. No, you do not need to take out your phone and place a 3-bet parlay on the game tonight. You can just sit and enjoy the game tonight. You don't have to be high to experience the beauty of the national parks. So quickly, I'm sorry I forgot your name, brother. I know you're going to be watching this stream. I met you at a gas station. This elusive Seattle dog. Everyone for like the whole time in Seattle kept talking about, you got to try Seattle dog. You got to try Seattle dog. I kept going and try to find and buy a Seattle dog. It's like a type of hot dog, and could not find it. All it is a hot dog with cream cheese and onions. Doesn't sound like that great. Kind of sounds gross, but also I'm sure it is really good. And for 3 weeks, I kept trying to find places. I went to 4 different places, and they either didn't have it on the menu or they were closed. And at a certain point, I'm like, dude, I think they just prank foreigners. I think they just prank people visiting the city. Like the locals just have this thing where they're like, tell them we have this cool thing. It's called the Seattle dog. Tell them. And then they'll spend their whole time here trying to find a Seattle dog and they won't find it. But I would tell that to people. By the end of my trip, I was kind of telling people, like, I think you guys are pranking me. And they would kind of smile like, yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, you're right. It is kind of weird that we have this thing, but it is kind of hard to find them. The whole thing is you have to find a street cart. Like someone has to basically just like be selling it out of a cart on the street somewhere. So you have to kind of know the right corners and intersections, and they change and they move and it just seems weird. It seems like you'd have like at least like a business or two, like a restaurant or two would add it to the menu, or like pop up like a, chain of restaurants that kind of specialize in that. But, it's like a Chicago dog. A Chicago style dog, you pretty much just go anywhere you can find one. Go to a bar, they're going to make you a Chicago style hot dog. Seattle, you have to like literally get a treasure map out and follow the dotted lines, like going in loop-de-doops to go like, you have to avoid the palm trees, and oh no, there's like a skull and crossbones, and you have to like navigate a treasure map to find the X on the map to like find a place that sells a Seattle dog. So that is my journey. I finally, like literally the last night I was in Seattle 2 nights ago, I finally found Hawk Dogs. Shout out Hawk Dogs. It was really good. Had Hawk Dogs. It was good. People told me this is the exact intersection. Go to this exact intersection at 8:30. It's when they open. You will buy a Seattle dog. You will be able to purchase a Seattle dog. Finally, they were true. It was right. And on that same intersection is a gas station. In that gas station, I met a man, talked to him for a little bit. I am sorry, brother, I forgot your name. And I'm sure you're watching the stream because you said you were going to check this out. But everything you said turned out to be true. And when I went, he was like, hey, I was walking around that neighborhood, Capitol Hill area of Seattle. Chaz area, Chaz Autonomous Zone area. We'll talk about that on the stream coming up where I talk about homelessness. So we'll talk about the Chaz and the Chop and what went down there. But I was in that area, that intersection, talking to this guy, and he was keeping it real and talking about stuff. But him and some other people kept saying these phrases while I was there of like, man, Seattle used to be great. Or man, Seattle's getting so bad. Or man, it used to be so great down here. It used to be. And you can kind of tell, like Seattle is just kind of heading down, But the one thing he said, he was like, he said the LGBT mafia took over and Freatle. That's another separate person told me about Freatle, where, the concept is Seattle gives out so much to the homeless, gives out shelter and needles and free drugs and all this free stuff that people all over the country go there to live on the streets. They've made street living so comfortable that it has, like a magnet, attracted people from all over the country to Freatle for the free stuff so they can continue living on the streets but more comfortably. And a 1-2 punch to that is just all the liberals and the gays have just taken over the city. And he was saying it's like an LGBT mafia. He was like, if you walk around the city, you will see a pride flag in every single small business. And he said if they don't put a pride flag up, they are out of business in 6 months. And I was like, okay, sure, probably. There's probably some truth to that. I'm sure you're probably exaggerating a little bit though, But he wasn't. I walked around and I was like, oh yeah, it's totally true. It is 100%. Every single business has the pride flag up. And it's like an extortion. Like, if you're a business, say you're a coffee shop, and you're like, I don't really want to do it, and you just don't put the little pride flag up, I guarantee it stands out and people will come in and why don't you have a pride flag up? I noticed you don't have your pride flag out. Why don't you have? It's like the extortion, the LGBT extortion mafia will come in. Excuse me, sir, I noticed you don't have a pride flag out. Excuse me, sir, knock, knock, knock. Excuse me, I noticed your pride flag is not displayed. Is there a reason for that, sir? Knock, 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 knock. It's like one guy in the whole city full of pride flags. It's like one man dares not to put a pride flag in his window. Excuse me, sir, LGBT extortion mafia here. We noticed you have a pride flag up. Are you a bigot, racist, homophobe? Oh, okay, well then we're going to run you out of business. We're going to get your permits pulled. We're going to get your zoning changed. We're going to get your taxes increased. We're going to get your Yelp reviews. We're going to make your Yelp reviews horrible. We're going to ruin your reputation on the internet. So put the flag up. Put the flag up. The LGBT mafia says so. Put the flag up, bigot. Or else suffer the consequences of not having a business in Seattle. Yeah, showers are gross everywhere. Indians are taking over them. Yeah, that's kind of why. Bathrooms and showers everywhere in Seattle are gross. I wonder why. But I was in an Indian grocery store. Speaking of gross bathrooms and showers, I was in an Indian grocery store, and they had a funny little, like, you could tell, like, the boss wrote a message on the whiteboard for, like, the employees. Like, remember, guys. And all it said was, what did it say? I wrote it. Make a customer, not a sale. And I noticed, I was like, man, they were all really friendly. Like, all the staff was very smiley and friendly when I walked in the whole time I was there. So I bet in the past, they probably had a problem with, like, bad Yelp reviews and people being like, man, those Indians in that grocery store are real grumpy and mean. And now they're like, no, make a customer, not a sale. Remember, be happy and smiley. But I like that. Like we said on our last stream, smile more today. Hey, be kind and smile more. It's not that hard. Make a customer, not a sale. Who cares about this apple being sold right now? Win the man that's going to come back and buy apples forever from you, But yeah, and then coffee shops are funny. I was expecting to be like hanging out in like late. I thought Seattle was like coffee shop capital. I was getting that vibe. I was like, man, it's like coffee shop. There's gonna be all these really cool coffee shops everywhere, late night coffee shops. And it's a little bit. I mean, it's the home of Starbucks. There's a few cool coffee shops around town, but they all close at like 2. They all close at like 4 p.m. It was kind of annoying. It is annoying. I like to be in coffee shops late at night. That's a vibe. Late at night, it's a little cold out, it's a little nippy, maybe it's raining a little bit. You got your lo-fi beats going. You're locked in working on your laptop. You're locked in writing notes for your live stream with your little lo-fi girl. Your lo-fi girl, chill music going. Lo-fi beats. It's like 8 p.m. at a coffee shop. You're playing smooth jazz, lo-fi beats. It's a vibe, man. And I thought Seattle would be more of that kind of vibe, that kind of aesthetic. And it's not. They all close at like 2 o'clock. Starbucks is the only thing open until like 7 or 8. Great. I can get those everywhere. But the cool thing about Seattle, I didn't really realize it until like the last week I was there really, is I was shocked at how little, like I was thinking, man, this is a very underwhelming coffee culture. Like that was my thinking, was like, man, I was thinking the coffee culture was like stronger in Seattle. But it just kind of took me a little bit. It kind of sunk in. I kind of started to do a little bit of noticing, a little bit of pattern recognition, and put it together that everywhere is a coffee shop. Like in the mechanic, I went to like a little tiny mechanic, a little mom and pop kind of store. It's like he had an espresso machine in there. He's like, oh, do you want a latte? You want an espresso? I'm like, no, I'm good. In a grocery store, they have like an espresso machine. It's like everywhere is a coffee shop. I was thinking like, man, where are all the coffee shops? Like I was expecting there to be more coffee shops everywhere and expecting the coffee culture to be that vibe, that mindset. Coffee shops on every corner and they're staying up late and it's a whole thing. The community goes to these coffee shops. But in reality, I think I wrote it here somewhere. It was just like all these, everywhere was a little miniature coffee shop. Like you go to a grocery store, a coffee shop. You go into it. One was like a mail shop, like a ship and print, like a place where you go, you take your packages. They sell like gift cards and like shipping supplies, and it's like a UPS, FedEx pickup place. And also, it's a coffee shop. Also, it's like a miniature little coffee bar inside of the store. It's like there was a sub place. Definitely also a coffee shop. There was a gyro shop, however you guys like to say that, gyro, gyro, hero. There was a record store. Dude was just cooking up lattes, cappuccinos in the record store, the bookstore record store. So yeah, it was just kind of funny. It was like, yeah, they don't really have a lot of coffee shops, but it's like every little shop is a coffee shop. It's like everywhere you turn, there's someone holding a cup of coffee, because every little business everywhere is its own little miniature coffee shop. So it was kind of weird. It was like, I was kind of like bummed out. I was like, man, I thought this coffee culture was bigger in Seattle, but it turns out it is. It's just not in the way you'd expect it to be. So that was kind of cool. Nail salons, that was the one. I walked by a nail salon and they were like cooking up lattes, you know? That was funny. We'll skip some of this. And yeah, we'll end this pretty short. But yeah, I want to talk about, went to Pike's Place. That was cool. Kind of. You know, went to the OG Starbucks, went to all the, you know, the little farmer's market, saw them toss the fish, you know, ate Beecher's cheese, pierogi, which I kept going back to that. Pierogi was probably the best food I've ever had in my life. These little Hot Pockets, these little like Italian fine dining Hot Pockets. So good. Pierogi, shout out. Beecher's was pretty good. The gum wall was like gross. It's kind of cool how it like the whole like people get united into something. Like it was kind of a cool like you're in this alley and on the alley is just gum. People literally take their gum and put it on the wall. So the wall is just covered in people's gum everywhere. Almost like graffiti, you know what I mean? Even on like the pipes, you know, like the water meters and the pipes and the utility boxes, it's like a city. It's like a alleyway, you know? But all this gum everywhere, it's kind of cool. It's kind of like a unifying, like the people came together and are building this art piece. It's almost like you're walking in this alleyway, which is a giant collective working piece of art. And I even did it. I mean, I had gum. I took my gum out and I added to the collection. So, you know, Seanathancory's gum is now a part of the gum wall, art wall in Seattle. You know, it's like I collectively am joining into the cumulative art piece that is being created on that wall in Seattle. It's cool. It's kind of cool. And it's also gross. Like it is also literally revolting gross at the same time. Like it's smelly. It smells like fish. There's a fish market right next door. It's also just gross. It's people's gum. And they're like drooping off. Like there's like pipes and stuff, you know, they're like utility pipes, like off of water meters and stuff. And people like droop the gum. So it's like hanging down. And I was sitting there it was like a simultaneous, like, this is pretty cool, man. Like people are pretty cool. I like the artistic vision going on here. It's also like, don't want to touch it. Don't want to get too close. This is gross, you know? And this black dude, he had his girlfriend or some girl was recording. So he's obviously like filming a TikTok, you know? And he's being all real goofy, you know, he's being like a cool, like almost like a skater punk black guy. He's kind of his aesthetic. And he's being real goofy and funny. And he's doing these like twirls and dances. And he's like pretending like he's like stroking the wall. So it was kind of like weird. I was like watching him do it. Like I was standing there and he was actually kind of like filming around me. Like he was doing this whole like skit. Like his girl was following with the camera. He's like kind of going along the wall, pretending to pet it. But it was like pretending. At first, he's like kind of pretending to pet it, pretending like he's going to like pull one off and eat it. And he's like, you know, psych, fake out. And I'm kind of watching. I'm like, oh, this is kind of stupid. Like, okay, whatever. Kind of chuckling to myself, like, kids these days, you know? Back in my day, kids used to actually be funny. And now I'm looking at this kid being like, kids these days, they're not funny, you know? Grumpy old man like I was talking about. But then it gets to a point where at one point he does like a little twirly thing and he like landed and he like went under, you know, there's this gum that's like hanging from a pipe. It's someone else's gum. Could have been there for a year, could have been there for 10 minutes. Some random person put their gum drooping and he like did this like spinning kind of dance, landed, and then ate the gum, dude. He like bit the gum, ate it full on, like without his hands, like mouth only, like he's bobbing for apples. Gets the gum, eats it, starts chewing it. The girl like puts the camera in his face and he's like slapping, chewing this gum and being all funny. And I kind of just stopped, man. I was like, what the heck, dude? What is your problem, man? Because at first it was like a couple minutes of him like pretending to be gross. It was almost like, yeah, haha, look at me, like pretending to touch the wall, pretending to grab gum off the wall and eat it. And then all of a sudden he like did this little spinny move and he just straight up ate it. No hesitation, no remorse, full send, full bite, chomped, chewed in front of the camera, kept going. I was revolted. So I don't know who that guy was. He could have been famous. He could be out there with like trillions of views or something. It could be like me being me. I could be going viral right now, being like the weirdo, awkward guy in the background of this kid's video. Like, what's going on? But be on the lookout for that. Somewhere on TikTok, somewhere on Instagram Reels, there's a black guy that ate some gum off the gum wall, like right next to me, and it was gross. Kind of funny, really gross. But yeah, be on the lookout for that on TikTok as you're doom scrolling. But yeah, I said the green tortoise. Shout out the green tortoise. We'll really start to wrap up here. I think it's going to start getting dark pretty quickly. And I want to not get stuck on the side of this mountain when it's like pitch black out alone. Stayed at the green tortoise. That was a little hostile. It was like full of freaks, man. I'm kind of like a freak. I'm kind of like a liberal. Like I'm like a hipster kind of guy. But man, was this the first time where I was like, I felt weird. Like I felt weirdly like I don't belong here. Like I am not enough of like an Antifa freak. Like I don't have a mohawk. I am not, I don't know, man. I don't want to be too mean because they were like kind of nice, but they also were like kind of mean. I was trying to be nice and friendly, and these people were just not having it, man. They could, I don't know if they could just smell it on me, smell the testosterone or the masculinity or something, but they did not like my vibe. The cute girls at the front desk loved my vibe. You know what I mean? I bet they couldn't, they loved the fact that I was now in the same building as them and took the building from like record low levels of testosterone to like at least something. You know, there's at least some testosterone now inside of this building because the rest of the building was very low T. I'll just leave it at that. Very low T and very radical. Let's just say that, you know, a combination that doesn't really work out too well, typically. Went to the Seattle Art Museum. We'll talk about, I've been going to a bunch of art museums on this trip, and I've been saving it up because we're going to talk about it all on an episode coming up. But it's just as funny. It's like another art museum where, you know, they section off all these different areas. There's like the African art, the Native American art, you know, the Japanese art, the Chinese art, you know, it's like, they don't say white art. You know, it's like there's black artists and there's Asian artists and there's Japanese and Chinese and African and Middle Eastern and Native American. And they don't say white people. They just say European. And they don't even like doing that. It's almost like they regrettably have to like say it because they have to say it. But it's like you get to the white people section and it's just unbelievable. It's hard to believe some of these works of art are even real. You're like, how is this even possible? It's so mind-blowing. Like they are the culture movers. They are the needle movers of the culture. They are the ones that dictate the themes and the progression of art over the years. Like they are the ones. They are the standard bearers. They are the best. They are the ones that are the creatives. They are just the epitome of the good art, you know? And you're going through the art museum and you're blown away and you're blown away and you're blown away. It's like all these European artists and all these, you know, early American artists. And you kind of go to the next room over and it's like, okay, now you're in like the Chinese art. And it's like, oh, okay, this is okay. This is cool. And you're like, oh, the Japanese art. Like, oh, this is kind of cool. Yeah. There was a section that was like Australian Aboriginal. And I'd never seen that, I guess. I guess I've never really been anywhere that's had like Aboriginal Australian art. That was pretty cool. The Native American stuff is pretty cool. But it just is so underwhelming. It's like there's some art that is just so impressive. It's so almost beyond your comprehension of like, how does this even happen? How is this even possible? And then you go to these other areas like the African art and you're like, oh yeah, I could do that. Like, oh yeah, okay. It's like sex and animals. It's like little carvings and trinkets and little sculptures of like big booty women and like monkeys. And you're like, oh yeah, I could do that probably. And then you go over here, there's like another section that you're just like, dude, I couldn't do that if I tried. If I was alive for 50 years and you gave me an infinity amount of attempts to recreate this, I wouldn't even come close. And there's just, you know, there's other sections of the museum where you're like, oh yeah, it looks like a kid made that. And I'm just not very interested in that stuff. You know, I'm more interested in like the white people stuff. And with that, and with the, you know, with that, we'll call it we'll call it a show. We'll call it an episode. The white stuff, incredible as always. But the Seattle Convention Center was really cool. I wanted to talk about that. When I am king, when I am made king of America, When I grab the crown of America out of the gutter and I place it upon my own head like Napoleon and I become king of this place and I start making some serious changes, one of the main things I'm going to be implementing in cities is like vegetation and trees on buildings and vertical farms. The fact we're not doing that is criminal. But Seattle Convention Center is like kind of like this brutalist modern architecture, the very like straight lines, gray walls, but with awesome, crazy, beautiful like canopies of trees and like ivy gardens like hanging off of it. It's really cool, man. So there's a lot of like good and bad about Seattle, like even the building itself is like brutalist and ugly, but then it's like made beautiful with like these like just thinking about it. I mean, yeah, you have to redesign your building a little bit. You have to have a little bit of a stronger roof to hold the soil that's going to be holding the weight of the plants. It gets wet, that's extra weight. It's like you have to have reinforced roofs. I get it's not easy to just do. You can't just put trees on top of buildings. But when I'm king and I'm giving orders and edicts and laws and rules, I'm going to say every new building has to have a sturdy enough roof for there to be some kind of garden or like trees or some kind of real life, real nature on top of or in and around what is being man-made. Because our cities are becoming too man-made. Our cities are becoming too artificial, too straight, too flat, too perfect angles, gray, white. It's just becoming nothing. And you come out here and you just start seeing shapes again. You start seeing colors and shapes. You start seeing just like the beauty in the chaos, the beauty in the different. You start seeing a group of rocks and you start seeing that diversity is actually beautiful. You start to actually, for once, seeing like the beauty in diversity, not the ugliness. But we also need it to function. We need roads. We need flat paved roads to function. But it's a push-pull of not having too much of it. And the reason I'm even saying all that, we'll talk about more of this on a later stream. We're going to talk about art and beauty coming up here soon. But if we're going to have cities where we need to have function, we need to have straight lines, we need to have pavement and concrete because we have to have buildings and we have to have like an infrastructure to build our buildings on, to live, to survive, yada, yada, yada. I get it. Practical utilitarian arguments inserted here. I get it. I understand it. But at the end of the day, the least we could do is plant like a tree or some ivy on top of it, around it. Add a little bit of nature, add a little bit of like real life to the top of or around your fake artificial life. Our cities that have become so artificial, so concrete, so man-made, the least we could do is start planting a little more trees kind of in and around the sidewalks, the walkways, on top of the buildings, on the buildings. And we need to be doing more vertical farms. That's probably a conspiracy theory we'll talk about on the future episodes or something, but vertical farms, I mean, just if you just imagine skyscrapers where each level is a farm, is an acre of land where you can turn 1 acre of land into 20 acres of land. If you build a 20-story building, you have 20 plots of 1 acre, The fact we're not doing more of that in our cities is criminal. But when I'm king, when I am made king of America, when Sean is crowned King of America, Sean the First, King of America, we will have more vegetation on and around our buildings and our cities. We will have plastic bags and plastic cutlery in our restaurants and grocery stores. None of these bag laws. We will have no 24-hour bikini drive-through coffee shops. That will for sure not be happening. No casinos, no drugs. No crunchy homesteader flower beds in between gas pumps. There's gonna be a lot of good, positive changes to this world when I'm king, I'm just gonna have to find the crown wherever it was left and place it upon my own head and become a righteous ruler and fix this mess. Get to fixing this mess. But we'll end it there. I got so much more to talk about. Just stay tuned. Next episode, I will carry on with, I went to this church, learned a bunch, made a bunch of friends, made a bunch of old lady friends. I forgot to talk about this. We will talk about this on the next episode. My ninja duck that my old lady friend gave me. that my girlfriend gave that my girlfriend Nancy gave me, an old lady in a wheelchair in Seattle, gave me a Ninja Duck, and it's now one of my most prized possessions. We'll talk about that on the next episode. We'll talk about this church I went to, what was up with it, some revelations I've been having, some things I've been learning, some struggles I've been going through, some highs, some lows, some accomplishments, some failures. We'll talk about it all next episode. We're going to talk about the homelessness. We're going to talk about utopia and the wild, the wilderness. We're going to talk about that. What is nature? What is man-made? What is good? What is bad? Escapism versus, into the wild versus into society. Mouse utopia. What happens when too many people live too close together? What happens when our life becomes too unnatural? What happens when things get overly complicated? When too much is in and around our lives? We'll get into it all. The homelessness and the drug abuse plaguing our people. Being rats in a cage, or the alternative, being monks in a cave. We'll talk about all of it, the good, the bad, on maybe not the next episode, but the upcoming episodes. And yeah, we'll wrap up there. Just remember, girls have cooties. Large size in Seattle isn't actually large. It's like normal size, not like enormous like everywhere else in the country. Seattle can't drive. It also can't park. Not having plastic bags is stupid. What else? What do we talk about? Jews got to chill. Definitely, dude. Chill out, Jews. Seattle dogs are good. USA is the best at baseball. What else? And yeah, just live in your today. Live in your today. And like we talked about last episode, win today. 1-0 today. And with that, yeah, just stay tuned. We'll talk about everything else I want to talk about coming up here shortly. Hope you enjoyed it. My glasses died. I hope they didn't delete the files so that I can show you down there, down on over yonder way beyond the wall here. And yeah, you can't see the full extent of it because it is in the heavens, but that is Mount Rainier. And we're going to be on our way down to Portland. We were going to go try to help some people on the streets of Portland. Had zero success in Seattle. Who cares? We're not living in the past. We're not going to get hung up on it. We're not going to let it stop us from going forward into the bright future ahead, which is helping the people who are very underhelped and underserved living on the streets of Portland and just living in Portland. Not just the homeless, but the people in Portland that live and breathe and walk, that may or may not have homes, that may or may not have jobs, that may or may not have it together, who still, in their own way, need Jesus. We will go shine the light and love of Jesus out into the world in Portland. We attempted it in Seattle. Mixed results. We'll talk about it on the next episode. There were some good moments. It was mostly really good moments with our brothers and sisters in Christ, and not very good moments with, I think, the people who need Christ. So it was a little bit of a bummer, and it was also like a big, awesome, rejuvenating, refreshing, reinvigorating few weeks, like with the brothers and sisters of Christ in Seattle. And again, just stay tuned. We'll talk more about it. It was also a little bit of a bummer with the people who need Christ in Seattle. But either way, it happened. It was good. It was bad. So be it. We're here enjoying this fine, beautiful creation of our Lord and Savior. And we're going to be leaving this place and onward to Portland, where we will again continue on trying to just spread the light and love of Jesus to everyone there. Whoever can listen, wants to listen, will listen and put up with me. But with that, I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Spread the word. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your enemies. And as always, stay tuned. I got a lot more to talk about. If you like listening to me talk and ramble, if you're still here at this point, then just, you know what to do. Stay tuned, because I'm going to keep doing this. I might get better at it. I might be funnier or less entertaining, more entertaining one week than I am the next, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep attempting to help myself and you by doing these streams, by sharing my stories, my thoughts, my insights, my advice, my confessions. And yeah, I guess that's it. I guess I don't know how to end it. Awkwardly trying to end this episode. But as always, do good, be good, love and be loved. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. And I'll see you guys soon. Have a good day.